everybody. Opening day across Major League Baseball.
Right here today is where the Sox start to put together a pretty solid game.
Slater high in the air to left field, going back. Get out! Benintendi, a deep drive back to right. Gone! Puts a charge into this one, going back deep to left, and that one's gone! And the Sox take an 8-0 lead in the 8th.
It was a long winter of waiting for White Sox fans, but game one went as good as you can draw it up. 1-0 are the White Sox in 2025, and now the season starts for real. Game two against the Angels this afternoon at Wright Field. Jonathan Cannon and Jose Soriano, the starters. You see Cannon's hard hit rate against, and Soriano's a guy who can bring it. He'll sit 98 with the fastball. Little challenge for the White Sox hitters this afternoon. Let's bring you into the ballpark, everybody. Hi, I'm Connor McKnight. She is Brooke Fletcher, and we are privileged to bring you game two here on CHSN. Brooke, it doesn't get much better than opening day for the White Sox this season.
Can we talk about the crowd and how electric they were? You could tell that the players, they were feeding off of that energy, obviously leading to their first win here at Wright Field.
And it's a good start for Sean Burke as well. The opening day nod was unconventional, but it worked.
Listen, he told us before his start, hey, I am ready for this moment, trust me. And listen, he got off to a little shaky start, but once he started to settle in and really find his rhythm, he was lights out, man. Only allowing 3 hits over 6 scoreless innings, retiring his last 14 hitters. Oh, not to mention, Connor, he didn't allow a walk the entire outing. He attests that to just quality pitches. The communication between him and Corey Lee was on point, just really setting up the bullpen to finish the job. And you also got to give credit to the run support they received.
Yeah, he got a good amount of run support, and slugging percentage is what got it done. A lot of offense for the Sox. Jonathan Cannon, though, gets the start later. We'll get to him in a bit. What the White Sox did in opening day is what they were unable to do last season. Add on runs. Andrew Benintendi had the big 3-run homer, and you can see the context in which this offense sat or did not sit last season. They just didn't score a whole lot, and especially did not hit the kind of home runs they wanted to. Coming up, we got game two. Jonathan Cannon primed and ready to launch. Looking forward to a good matchup here in the second of the season against the Angels. Stay tuned. Baseball's on the way on CHSN.
White Sox Baseball and Chicago Sports Network is brought to you in part by Toyota. Visit your local Chicagoland Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Illinois Lottery. Illinois is full of winners. Play today. And by Wintrust, Chicago's bank. Show your team pride with a White Sox debit card. Get yours at wintrust.com/Sox. Member FDIC, EHL lender.
There he is, Jonathan Cannon, getting ready to take the ball for the first time in 2025. Made 21 starts for the team last season, the most among returning White Sox pitchers. Let's see how he does here in year 2 in the big leagues. What is up, everybody? Welcome inside the booth alongside my guy, Steve Stone. I'm John Triffin. Excited to see Jonathan Cannon get the start here in the second game of the season. You saw him a lot last season, Steve. Did you see enough out of him to be a frontline starter?
Well, look, he was 5-10, but the team wasn't all that good. What I saw was a guy that can throw a good sinker. He's not going to be a strikeout pitcher. He's going to throw a lot of ground balls when he's right. The changeup is good. He's got to get a little more consistent. But this is a guy that's got a huge upside. He's a big, strong young man. Hopefully he gets everything over the plate early. And if he does that, I think he's going to be a big factor, perhaps either middle or top of the rotation type pitcher for the Sox. And it all starts for him today. I'm pretty excited about it. I know he is, and it should be interesting.
Well, the pitching was certainly good opening day on Thursday, but how about the power surge? 3 home runs, Austin Slater, Andrew Benintendi, and Lenyn Sosa all went deep. Will it continue? Game 2 against the Angels coming up next.
Austin, you can feel the energy in the clubhouse after that big win on opening day. How can that energy translate into success on the field?
Yeah, I think it's about believing that, we can compete in this league and at this level, and just keep trying to build that throughout the course of the season. And starting off 1-0 is obviously a great way to do it, and just keep stacking those wins.
You're not in the lineup today, but what does a day look like for you when you're not in the lineup, and how do you make sure you stay ready in case your number's called?
Yeah, I usually start trying to get loose around the 2nd or 3rd, and try to be ready by the 5th, for any sort of pinch hit opportunity, something like that, and get ready to go.
All right, Austin, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Guys, back to you.
All right, Brooke, thank you so much. Didn't it feel different? The win on Thursday, the reset, fresh slate, a new season for the Sox.
I think when the team wins, everybody has a little pep in their step. I think everybody's feeling pretty good about what happened. And it wasn't just the fact that they won. It was the way they won. They ran the bases well. They hit the ball out of the ballpark. They fielded everything that was hit to them, and they hit cutoff men when it need be.
Take a look at the Angels lineup put out by manager Ron Washington.
Second baseman, shortstop, and third baseman on Thursday for the Angels when it combined 0 for 10, so a change in the middle of the order. Yohan Moncada will get the start over Tim Anderson. He is at third. Ohapi Rengifo now moves to second base. Adele Newman round things out for the Angels.
Jonathan Cannon going to the mound, 5-10 last year. The ERA was pretty decent. He showed some moments of brilliance. So you take a look at 21 starts, 23 appearances. He's not going to strike out a whole lot of guys, but he uses that sinker, the sweeper combination, throws the occasional cutter with a changeup that is a bit of a work in progress, and the four-seam fastball. Getting the ball over early is the key. We'll see if he can get it done today.
First pitch here on the way to Taylor Ward. And the cutter is in there. Strike one for Jonathan Cannon, just 24 years old. As we take a look at the man behind the plate, Jim Wolf, calling balls and strikes today. Cannon was fast-tracked through the minor leagues. He was drafted in 2023, but made his big league debut with the White Sox last season, got 21 starts as part of that rotation.
I think coming out of Georgia, a pretty good program that really helped him.
One of those guys who came out of college with 5 or 6 different pitches, but he leaned on some of the veterans who were here last year to really refine that arsenal going forward in his big league career.
Well, he's going to sink or swim with that sinker, because when he's right, he's going to throw a lot of ground balls, and that's going to be the key for him. You get ahead early, then you throw a pitch just off the corners, and when they swing at a pitcher's pitch, usually that's a ground ball from Cannon.
1-2 pitch. And that one is fouled off by Ward. Just underway here at right field. And this one driven down the left field line and foul. Opening week is brought to you by PNC Bank. We had over 31,000 fans here in attendance for opening day. Thank you for everyone who showed up, everyone watching here on CHSN. Really feel and appreciate the support this season.
I think also it's a pretty decent crowd today. Opening day, you figure you're going to get a nice crowd. Today, nobody really knew exactly what it would look like, but I'm looking around. It's anywhere between 15 and 20,000, and the weatherman has cooperated to this point.
Misses with that sweeper. So the count now runs full to the first Angels hitter here today. Ninth pitch of this at bat to start the ball game. And Ward spoils another one.
That was a pretty good sinker. If he does make contact with that, he's going to beat it right into the ground. Good movement. Ward does a nice job of just staying alive.
Here's a 3-2, and Ward another one fouls off.
This is exactly what you want your leadoff hitter to do, which is force the opposing pitcher to throw a whole lot of pitches. Pitch number 11 on the way.
Payoff again. And Ward delivers that one into center field for a leadoff single. Well, Jonathan Cannon very familiar with the Angels. Faced them twice in a span of 8 days. The most recent time was at home September 24th. Got the no decision, though he threw 6. The White Sox eventually getting the 3-2 win.
The one thing about Jonathan Cannon is everything he throws moves. And that certainly is going to be something that he will take with him going forward. The biggest challenge for Jonathan is left-hand hitters. They hit .278 against him last year. That's a pretty high number.
Nolan Shawnuel, the first baseman. Big thing for Shawnuel this offseason was putting on some weight. For a first baseman, they felt like he didn't really have a lot of pop in his bat, so they want to see a little more explosiveness, get a little more bat speed. Turns on that one, but foul.
We talked about a first baseman coming off the bag when he's holding a base runner close. You can't come off all that much because if they hit it behind you, there's a good chance the man at first is going to score. Fortunately, this is foul, and Chris Siegel making the call at first. Ball's hit awfully hard and very happily on the right side of the line.
According to Baseball Savant, Shawnuel last season ranked in the bottom 2 percentile of qualified hitters in terms of bat speed, 65.2 miles per hour, 5th slowest in big league baseball. Doesn't bite on that changeup. Count is even at 2-2.
Well, a pretty good idea here because they expect Shawnuel to pull the ball, but throw that sinker away. You're probably going to get that ground ball to the right side.
So a lot of pitches already. These first 2 batters for Jonathan Cannon, 16 pitches. And we saw on Thursday with Sean Burke. Took him some time to settle into the game, the emotions of opening day. Cannon settling down here in this first. 2-2. Good pitch. The put away changeup. There's one out.
This is a big out ahead of Mike Trout. Good changeup. You can see the late movement. You see the grip. It's a circle change, and the ball just doesn't get there. Most hitters will swing at the motion, and that's a big out.
Here is the big bat in the lineup for the Angels. Mike Trout, former MVP. See what he ranks among active players. And when healthy, he is one of the best in the game.
And he still has plenty of life left. He just has to stay on the field. If he can do that, he'll have another great year.
The problems really started for him the last 4 seasons. It seems like one major injury after the next. And the big news in the offseason for the Angels, Trout making the shift from center to right to preserve his legs and stay on the field.
A lot of his injuries have been leg related, and so they think that he'll be a whole lot better in right.
Once again, Cannon trying to work ahead in the count here, 1-2.
Well, the Angels know that they have to start playing good baseball because they're playing 15 of their first 18 games on the road. And it's not easy to win on the road in the major leagues, so they're going to have to find some answers early in this season.
1-2 from Cannon. Dribbler back to the mound. Backhand. Cannon goes to second. And not in time at first, but he does get the lead runner.
Good solid play by Jonathan Cannon. A lot of pitchers will just go to first base with this. But Cannon, a pretty good athlete, comes off the mound and makes a very good throw to second base. Lenine tries to double him up, but Trout still runs pretty well.
Feels like the sun is starting to poke through the clouds here. The weather's still turning a bit.
Yeah, we haven't seen it much today. Yesterday was a gorgeous day. That turned out to be the off day. Every team that plays in a cold weather climate is going to get that day off after opening day.
Big power bat Jorge Soler. And he came up in a big spot yesterday. Excuse me, on Thursday. Bases loaded in the 8th inning. But he struck out. The White Sox got out of the jam and preserving the 8-1 win on opening day.
If you're going to look at one at bat the entire game, his was the most important because the pitch was over his head. It would have been ball 4. At the time, it would have been 3-1, and they still had the bases loaded. He swung at a pitch way out of the zone. Mike Clevenger getting the job done.
1-2 from Cannon. Up and in as Soler backs off the plate.
That one didn't miss by much.
Actually might have caught a piece of the zone there.
I think probably too close to make the appeal at this point, but
The appeal to first. And Chris Siegel says did not go around. Ball 4. So the returning pitchers, Jonathan Cannon leads the way with 21 starts last season.
Davis Martin, who earned a spot in the rotation out of spring training, had 10 of them. And then Clevenger and Burke.
Well, you heard a few bluebirds as Yoan Moncada gets his first start of the season for the Angels. He did have one plate appearance on Thursday, walking, getting on board late. Well, that's the trouble for Cannon. He said when the pitches start to get up, that's his bad miss. He said for a guy who throws sinkers, I need to start missing down in the zone when I'm making mistakes.
Well, the reason why sinker ballers have some problems early in the game is that they're too strong. Eventually, both the adrenaline rush and physically, as they move along, the sinker will get better. So if you're going to get to a sinker baller, you got to get to him early.
And a changeup now missing outside. 3 balls and a strike as Matt Thaiss comes out of his crouch and tells Cannon, settle down a little bit. "31 pitches already here in this first inning. Here's 32. And the cutter just catches a piece. Count is full.
Well, you can tell how they want to go after Moncada, and that's everything up, which seems counterintuitive for a sinker baller. But you want to go to the hitter's weakness, especially early in the game.
2 outs just underway. The 3-2. And Moncada fouls it away.
Unless Jonathan has a couple of 6-pitch innings, this is not going to be the kind of start that Burke had.
3-2, and he caught him looking. 2 strikeouts in the first inning for Jonathan Cannon. White Sox bats coming up. On in the season, he's going to be mixing and matching, making sure guys stay fresh off the bench. So the first 4 stay chained. They don't change from Thursday, but then he switches it up. Nate Maton gets his first start in DH. Matt Thaiss behind the plate, and at the bottom of the order, Brooks Baldwin his first start in right field.
And they're facing a fireballer. Jose Soriano averages 98 miles an hour on that sinker. You look at innings, you look at strikeouts and walks. Only problem he's had is staying healthy. When he's healthy, he can be dominant, and he has reverse splits. He has a tougher time with right-handers than he does with left-handers.
Miguel Vargas starts things off for the White Sox. Shows bunt, pulls it back. Ball 1.
We'll take a look at what he throws, and everything he throws hard. The sinker, the knuckle curve, the four-seamer, the splitter, and the slider.
Miguel Vargas once again getting the start, top of the order. White Sox feel like he is one of the best on the team at controlling the strike zone. Puts this one in play to short. And Newman with the throw, one down to start this bottom of the first inning.
Well, you know, with Soriano going to the mound, he throws 60%, 60.4% ground balls. And that sinker is just outstanding. It explodes up there. So this is a guy that figures prominently for the Angels, and the Angels do have one strength. It is pitching.
There is that sinker popping the mitt at 97 miles per hour. He will throw that sinker over 46% of the time. Last season, opposing batters hit .214 against that pitch. Backs it up with the knuckle curve, and it's quickly 0-2.
Yeah, last year the knuckle curve averaged 86+ miles an hour, which for a curveball of any sort is outstanding.
It's time for our live lines presented by Circa Sportsbook. We check out the odds for home run hitters in today's game. Luis Robert Jr. at the plate, plus 550. We saw him in the 600 range on Thursday.
Yeah, that seems to be a value play.
You know how we like value.
We like value plays.
Two balls, two strikes, the count to Luis Robert Jr. On the ground, a third. And Moncada almost pulled off the bag, but Shawnuel kept his foot down for out number 2.
I think they're going to want to take another look at that. It's Chris Siegel on the call, and it looks to me like that foot is off the bag. And Luis saw it right away. But they're going to choose not to look at it.
Was the foot still on, though? That's tough to tell.
Yeah, it's really close, and I don't think that Will wants to lose that challenge this early in the game. Interesting thing about Moncada, if you get him moving side to side or straight forward, he will make a pinpoint throw. You give him some time, and he does things like that.
Quickly 0-2 to Andrew Benintendi, who wants to use his only time at the plate. What a promising start for Benintendi.
When I talked to him today, he said he feels great. He's 100% and just ready to go with everything, and he looks really good.
We talked a lot about the toe tap versus the leg kick last year, but one of the real shifts for him was just mentally. Instead of trying to figure out a direction to hit the ball, he just wanted to crush everything. And that's what really got him going. Let's flash it back. Benintendi in that 8th inning where the White Sox put up 5. This is a 3-run blast.
He got a high fastball and took it out. Happy way to start the year.
The 5 runs the White Sox scored in that 8th inning, the most any team has scored so far in any inning in this Major League Baseball season. Home runs by season, 20 last year. He's sitting on career number 99 right now.
Adele in center field is playing him just a couple of steps to the left of center. Big gap in right center field. They don't expect Benintendi to pull the ball, but he's been pulling the ball pretty well this year.
3-2. Hits it hard to right. And just foul.
That one didn't miss by much.
So Benintendi waiting for the sign. He knows he has to go back, but we take another look.
Ooh. That's about as close as you can get. Chris Siegel once again, who's had a very busy first inning, and again that's really close.
So Benintendi walking back to the plate as the wind is blowing out in right. You see the flags whipping that way. Three-two. Sinker in off the plate, ball 4. So Benintendi climbing back in that at bat. It was 0-2, took his time and regroups with a walk.
Did a nice job of laying off that last pitch because that's really close on the inside part of the plate. He got the call from Jim Wolf, and it will extend the inning pitch-wise, which is something you want to do with Soriano especially.
First baseman Andrew Vaughn swinging at the first one. Rolls it over to second. And Rengifo makes the play to end this first inning. No score, just underway. Rate, one of the top mortgage lenders in America, proud to celebrate 125 years of Southside baseball. With next-level technology, competitive rates, and a process built for speed, the loan experts at Rate are here to make your home buying journey simple and stress-free. Rate, your home team. Get in the game at rate.com. First pitch swinging, Logan O'Hoppe, and he'll drive this one to left field at the warning track. Let's check in with Brooke.
Hey guys, it's time for our scoop from the clubhouse, and what better way to celebrate an opening day win than with a Gatorade shower. And we have a video of Will Venable celebrating with the guys. They're just having some fun there. But you know, this really sets the tone the players like for the season here, although it is just a win. You know, he said that, you know, this just feels like a completely different clubhouse. Corey Lee said it best. He said it's the 2025 Sox. We're ready to rock, baby. But listen, this was the message that was extended all throughout spring training. Andrew Benintendi, he said, you know, he could feel a difference in this clubhouse. It's a gritty group, guys that want to play for each other. And, you know, this is what you want in a group when you're trying to redefine this organization. Steve, you know it best. The camaraderie in a clubhouse can be the difference when you're trying to define some success.
And, Brooke, what you really love to see is everybody participating in the joyous feeling of winning opening day. It had been a while. It had been 11 years since Sox have done that with a home win. And for Will Venable, he chunks up win number 1 pretty quickly. Quite a day. Everybody very happy, and they came in with the attitude that might as well play as hard as you can. You never know what's going to happen.
A little water, a little Gatorade. I did see some shaving cream dumped in that shower as well. He said there were so many things. I think my hat is still a little messed up, got some stains, but that's one you live with the excitement of an opening day win. Joe Adell, the center fielder, as the sinker missing down. 2 balls, no strikes with 1 out here in this second inning. A lot of pitches already for Jonathan Cannon through 34 in that first inning.
Be nice to throw a good sinker here and get that ground ball.
See him lick his fingers and then wipe it on his pants. Talk about the key for sinkers is just kind of calming everything down, getting back in so you don't have, you're not so amped up to throw early. Any tricks you can do on the mound to get the control?
I don't know if you can do any tricks when you're a sinker baller. I think you just have to get that feel, and that's why the first inning is so difficult. When they come out, usually second, but particularly the third inning, that sinker usually works a whole lot better than it does early.
There goes the runner, and that cutter misses down. Ball 4. This half inning is brought to you by Toyota. So the second walk issued by Jonathan Cannon so far here today, and he's got runners on at first and second with 1 down.
42 pitches so far. A double play ground ball would look awfully good right about here.
Bottom of the order for the Angels is the shortstop, Kevin Newman. Right back to Cannon. This could be 2. He gets 1 at second, over to first. Steve Stone dialed up just like you called it.
That sinker baller, you can get out of trouble in a hurry, and he got out of that one.
Cannon fielding his position. Sosa, the return throw. Just 9 pitches in that second inning for Cannon. Welcome back inside the booth alongside with Steve. I'm John. All right, it is time for home cooking, everyone's favorite. It is the segment where we talk about the new food offerings in the ballpark as Maton, first pitch, pops it up to Moncada. All right, this is the El Diablo Korean dog. It is from Lucky's. It is a new offering here at the ballpark. When you open it up, here's what it looks like. Ooh, all right, it's actually not a hot dog. So on this stick, it is mozzarella cheese crusted with flamin' hot Cheetos. Steve, I know they made this just for you.
To me, flaming hot Cheetos are, I mean, that's number one. Forget the steak, forget everything else, but flaming hot Cheetos are very nice. Yeah, this is a good one.
They've got some sambal mayo and the foo sauce also on top. I had it earlier, and I'm not going to lie, when I first took a look at it, when I heard flaming hot, that's not my jam.
Yeah.
I don't like spicy, you know that. This wasn't that hot. It was just enough kick, and the mozzarella, it's a good touch.
Yeah.
This is, I think, is going to be a win this season.
Oh, I think so. But for me, it would be hospitalization. But we also do have, I mean, they do make hot dogs in here also. They have a few different things they put in the middle.
So Lucky's, it's an Asian street food concept that is new this season at the ballpark. There's Korean dogs, they have bubble waffles and Asian noodles. You can find Lucky's in section 154, and I was told on opening day that had the longest line at the ballpark, people trying to check out the new food.
Well, you had the noodles before the game, and he said they tasted really good. So that's something that the people really enjoyed. The food here at the ballpark is just outstanding.
Sosa, a chopper back to Soriano, sets his feet, and there's 2 away here in this bottom of the second inning.
One of the measures of a pitcher is how they do when they're behind in the count. And for Soriano, he's just outstanding. Opponents hitting just .259 when they're ahead of him. And normally that's when pitchers get hurt. You fall behind, hitter looking for a fastball, he hits it well. But with that sinker that Soriano throws and everything he throws moving down, even when he's behind, he's still a handful.
A lot of new faces here on this White Sox team. One of the newest ones at the plate in catcher Matt Thaiss. Spent his entire career with the Angels. Was actually traded away to the Cubs in the offseason very briefly. And then the White Sox traded for him in the offseason. And he makes his debut here, getting the start in game 2 of the season.
Veteran catchers who swing the bat from the left side are pretty valuable, and that's one of the reasons why they acquired Thaiss. He told me after spending his entire career with that red uniform on that it was a little different walking into the ballpark, and he draws a walk in his first at bat. That also keeps the inning alive, forces Soriano to throw more pitches. As you look at Ron Washington.
Brooke, what'd you hear from Matt Thaiss about switching unis?
Yeah, when you spend your entire career with one organization, you'd imagine it's pretty challenging. New faces, new rules. And he said what helped with this transition was familiar faces. Catching coach Drew Batura played with him in the Angels system, and coaches Marcus Timms and Matt Weiss, they were also there too. You know, he told him just to be himself, and he's just excited for the fresh start and the chance to work with this young pitching staff. He's really happy to be here in Chicago.
A lot of new faces in White Sox uniform this season. Just 5 returners from last year's opening day roster on this year's opening day.
Oh, Hoppy goes out. He wants a word with Soriano. In the at-bats that Amaya had on opening day, he was looking to take the ball the other way. And that's one of the things that he will do pretty well. He's not going to hit a whole lot of home runs, but he's a guy that will make some contact. And with his glove and the ability to do a whole lot of things defensively, if he can hit in the 240s, the Sox would be ecstatic. One of the things that they talked to him about was laying down the occasional bunt. You don't like to see a 2-0, but with Moncada back as far as he is at third base, it's an ideal time for hitters to take a look at where he sets up.
6 straight balls for Soriano, as this one is put in play at short. On the move, Newman. And that'll do it for the second inning. Coming up, we will hear from the White Sox general manager, Chris Getz, on how he put together this roster and the outlook for your 2025 Chicago White Sox. Top of the third here at Rate Field, no score. This half inning is brought to you by Hyundai. Pleased to be joined by General Manager Chris Getz. Always love when you spend some time with us breaking things down. I know this spring training, there were some wrenches thrown in there with some late injuries, and I know you guys were looking to figure out the opening day roster. Tell us what that process was like and how you came to this 26.
Well, thankfully those injuries were pretty minor. Obviously, you want to have everyone healthy come opening day, but knowing that getting through 162 with just 26 guys is just not realistic. So we did the best we could with the group that we had and wanted to balance out the lineup. And adding Nick Maton and Jankowski, laid left-handed bats, and obviously there's some versatility to bring to the table, would help us put together the best lineup we could at that particular juncture. But there's also the waiver wire and players that have opt-outs and those types of things that you want to stay up on top of. Just always looking to upgrade your roster if you can.
Tell our fans about the Rule 5 draft, because that came into play this year, and what do you have to do with these guys before offering them back?
So yeah, we had the first pick in the Rule 5 draft, and Shane Smith, who had an excellent spring training. We feel very fortunate to have him, and then we picked up Mike Vasel on the waivers the last week of spring training. Now the challenging part of carrying not only one but two Rule 5 picks is you can't option them to the minor league. So they need a set amount of active days on the roster, and so sometimes you need to be a little bit creative on how you get through the season. But more than anything, we felt like it was an opportunity to get really talented arms to add to this group, and we'll see how it goes. But we're excited to have both of those guys.
Take us through this starting rotation. A lot of people were unfamiliar with Sean Burke, named the opening day starter, but he was fantastic. What did you like about him?
Well, yeah, I mean, he was outstanding. Early on in that first inning, although there was some traffic and some base runners, I knew he had his stuff because he was pounding the zone. And we were fortunate to have Sean go deeper in the game. That's a testament to him. He's got stuff. He has a track record, and we got him in the third round a couple years ago, and he was moving along on our minor league in his minor league development. Unfortunately, in the beginning of spring training a couple of years ago, he had a lat injury that really set him back, and it took him a bit to get back and back into a rotation. And last year we looked up, and gosh, he was doing pretty well in Charlotte. We made the decision that we were going to add him to the roster, but he came up and made 4 really quality starts for us, and then going through spring training and trying to figure out who's going to be the opening day starter. We felt like we didn't have one player that really jumped out, that this was an obvious one. We had a handful and felt like, let's set a rotation to optimize the first couple series. And it just made sense to have Sean kick it off, and boy, did he deliver.
What does it feel like from the general manager seat to have as much young pitching as you guys have in this organization? This is the first time in a long time we can say that.
Yeah, usually it's the hardest thing to accumulate, in your system is pitching. And it was a priority of ours when we made some trade acquisitions, and obviously with Hagen Smith in the draft and some other picks. So we felt like, all right, how do we separate ourselves from other organizations? Let's really build a foundation on the pitching front. We brought in Brian Bannister and others to help on the development front, and we feel like we're in a pretty good spot.
How about Jonathan Cannon? Blowing it past Mike Trout. Stay with us for another half inning.
Of course.
All right. White Sox, Angels, no score. Joined once again by White Sox general manager Chris Getz, and a ton of new faces. New catcher Matt Thaiss, 3 new outfielders in Jankowski, Slater, Taylor, new infielder, and Nick Maton. Walk us through the new players and what they add to this roster.
We'll start with the catching, and obviously we've got a fair amount of attention, and I would say deservedly for our catching depth. You know, with Edgar Caro and Kyle Teal up in AAA, but you know, not quite ready for the big leagues. But to bring in a Matt Thaiss, who, you know, he's a left-handed stick. He's got he's got an ability to kind of come in here with his experience to help with some of our young pitching, to pair with Corey, continue Corey's development. But offensively, you know, just the lefty and the righty there, we felt like was, it was something we were set out to do, and excited to have those guys while, you know, Kyle and Edgar can continue their development at AAA. Across the infield, you know, Vargas, obviously we got last year. He had an excellent spring training, probably our offensive MVP. He and Louis, from spring training, and Miguel looks like he's in a really good spot. Jacob Amaya, we saw him last year. We know what he's capable of doing on the defensive side. Just to bring that stability, catch the ball. He's been giving us some pretty quality at bats so far. He did on opening day. And you know, buys us a little bit more time to continue to development of Colson and Chase Mydroth, and then Lenin Sosa. You know, August, September of last year, and spring training, and obviously opening day there. Lenin is an offensive force, and then we've got Vonner, who certainly helps stabilize the offense. At first. But, you know, you look at the infield as a whole, and, you know, you add Maton in there. We talked about him a little bit already. You know, the versatility, being able to put guys in different spots, maximize the defense along with balancing out a lineup is something we were set out to do.
What does Colson Montgomery have to do? He hit a home run last night, which is always a nice thing. But what does he have to do to get back here?
You know, the defensively, you know, making the routine play, in which he showed pretty well in spring training. He actually, I think, has certainly made some strides there. That's really important. We know how difficult it can be for a young player to come up here and perform offensively. So, you know, at bare minimum, you want a guy that's going to be able to catch the ball and make that routine play. You know, directionally at the plate, give himself some space. He's a drop in there. Not quite. He's a long lever guy. He's 6'4", has some power. We want to make sure he's giving himself enough space to deliver the barrel, and of course the decision making comes with that. So we would just want to make sure he's locked in, build up a nice foundation in Charlotte, and then eventually bring him up. But he's certainly not too far off, just because he's such a good athlete. He can offer so much to a major league club, and he's in a really good headspace, and look forward to seeing how it plays out with Colson.
I know there's 2 outs, but I do want to get to the pitching staff, especially the bullpen. A lot of new names there. I think Cam Boozer is going to be a fan favorite with his story. Penn Murphy, we saw him on opening day. Tell us how you put together the bullpen. Different looks. I mean, you look at the arm angle and the stuff, and you're trying to complement the starters that we have, and you look at, you know, we've got 4 righty starters and a left-handed starter in Martin Perez, and but because of those righties, we wanted to carry as many lefties as we could appropriately. We've got guys that can handle multiple innings but also pitch some leverage for us. So a balance of lefties and righties in the bullpen. You look at Penn Murphy with his arm angle, sweeper, slider that he can offer. We're looking to create some chaos out there and balance out our starting staff, but we feel pretty good about what we have. White Sox start the season 1-0. Chris Getz, thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.
Coming up next, we talked about him. The opening day starter, Sean Burke, will be on the mic with Brooke when we come back. Welcome back. Top 4, no score. This half inning is brought to you by the Illinois Lottery. Let's hear from the opening day starter, Sean Burke, who's with Brooke.
Sean, you've had a couple of days to kind of digest opening day here. Just looking back, what stood out to you about that performance?
I thought it was just kind of good from the get-go of, I faced a little bit of adversity in the first inning and just able to settle down, work through that. And then I feel like once I get into a rhythm, me and Corey were on the same page. So just all in all, I felt like there were a lot of positives to take away from it.
You're no stranger to adversity. You've talked about this just throughout your career. You've dealt with different types of struggles. How do you feel like that better prepared you for that moment?
Yeah, 100%. I think that dealing with it at kind of every step of the way, high school, college, then pro ball here, just, I've gotten used to being able to bounce back from that stuff. It doesn't discourage me too much. I understand that's part of the game. It's kind of the nature of baseball. So just the experience with it and being able to work through it, I feel like it's just going to keep benefiting me going forward.
And you got some support from the offense, your pitching staff, the bullpen man came out and just closed the door for you. When you have guys working around you like that, what does that do for your confidence as a pitcher?
It makes my job a lot easier. I think, obviously the offense stepped up huge yesterday at the plate, and then defensively too. I mean, they were pretty aggressive. They're putting a lot of balls in play early. So honestly, 1 through 9, everybody picked the ball well. Corey called a great game back there. So it was definitely a total team effort yesterday.
Okay. Well, you're a Massachusetts guy, and, we got Shane Smith and Mike Vassell, also some from Massachusetts. What's it like just being so well represented on this pitching staff, the UMass guys?
It's cool. I mean, there's not a lot of Mass guys in general that play baseball or, make it to the league. So to have all 3 of us on the same team is super cool, especially because we've played with each other, played against each other too growing up. So now that we're all at the highest level on the same team, it's cool.
Massachusetts well represented here on the White Sox, guys. I'll send it back up to you.
All right, thank you so much. He's also a Maryland guy. His Terrapins are no longer in it, but they had a little run in March Madness. As Moncada works himself a 1-out walk here in this 4th inning. Have you been checking out any of March Madness?
There's been some really good games. I mean, Purdue almost got the job done, but Houston was a little too tough at the end. And yeah, it's it. The March Madness is just great. I mean, it's just a wonderful time, and I know a lot of people just really enjoy it, and the intensity with which those guys play each and every moment of those games is a lesson for any athletes to leave it all out, in this case on the court.
Not only has March Madness been good, how about the Bulls picking it up right now? Thursday night, a lot of the players actually from opening day, they went over to the United Center to check out the Bulls taking on the Lakers. That was probably one of the best finishes the Bulls have seen in regular season in a long time. Adam Amin, Stacey King, they just crushed that last second call. The half court buzzer beater. It was a thriller.
Well, how about being down 18, 19 points, whatever it was, and coming back and able to beat a pretty good Laker team.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was exciting. The Bulls are finishing with a flourish, and it's a good thing to watch them play, because right now they are really letting it all go.
We all know Chicago's fun in the summer, but when the Bulls are picking it up, the White Sox can have themselves a good season as Cannon gets another strikeout. Time now for a message from Powering Chicago.
At Powering Chicago, we build more than electrical infrastructure. We build the future. Our trained, qualified, diverse workforce knows electricity. Partner with Powering Chicago and build better construction, better careers, and better communities for generations to come.
I'm sure you'll see some players back at the United Center tonight. The Bulls take on the Dallas Mavericks at home.
Well, if you had the over in the Milwaukee-New York game,
okay,
go to the window. Top of the 5th, it's 16-6 Yankees. Wind must be blowing straight out because they're hitting everything out of the park. They have 8 home runs. Aaron Judge has 3 by himself. 8 home runs in less than 5 innings. That's pretty good.
Bronx Bombers. Yeah.
Yeah, they added a few pieces that look like they're going to really benefit them.
Check over at Moncada's at first, as Luis Rengifo at the plate in the hole, 0-2. On the ground, Vaughn will step on the bag. And the White Sox first baseman is due up first to start the bottom half of the inning. White Sox looking to get the bats going. Join us for Coca-Cola Family Sundays and Kids Opening Day, which is tomorrow, and kick off the 2025 season with a day full of fun. You can enjoy on-field pregame parade, face painters, balloon artists, poster design stations, Southpaw appearances, and more. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/promos.
Well, it's about time for this no-hitter to come to an end, and it's 3-4-5 in the batting order against Soriano.
Tapper, Moncada sliding down, gets to his feet. And Benintendi will be safe at first. That's a hit.
That's a base hit. No hitter is bye-bye. We'll take another look at it. Moncada gets it and then for some reason decides to slide. It cost him the play, and he would have beaten the play even with a good throw. So the first hit of the game for the Sox, who are looking for the first run of the game.
And Mr. Steve Stone, you're also 2 for 2 today. You called for a double play, and then you called for the no-no to get broken up here in this fourth.
This was a good time to do it. The excuse me swing, but he hit it in a good spot.
So here is Andrew Vaughn. 0 for 1 with the ground out, looking for his first hit so far this season. No surprise that Jose Soriano is having early success. This was a guy who really had a breakout season last year for the Angels. They started him in the bullpen, but then his stuff was so electric, got into the starting rotation, had some arm fatigue in August, and they shut him down for the season. Diving stop at short, Newman one, and they get the double play.
Download the Chicago Sports Network app so you can stream live White Sox games and stay up to date on all your favorite Chicago sports teams. Download the CHSN app and stream today.
So the biggest thing for Soriano is that in the offseason he said, I worked on my conditioning because I want to make sure I can get through a full season.
Well, look, he's a very big, strong guy, but that doesn't necessarily translate into durability on the mound. So in order to go deep into a season, you've had to have been there before, and Soriano's going to start this entire year, you would expect. So we'll see as things get to about the 25 start mark if that arm still holds on, and that's the only thing that's been able to stop him during the course of his career is getting hurt.
Maton on the grounder back up the middle. Time now for some American Sail fun at home. Half inning is brought to you by St. Xavier University. Top of the fifth inning, still scoreless. White Sox with just one hit off the starter, Jonathan Cannon, still in the game. Grounder up the middle, knocked down by Amaya. Sosa's throw, and not in time. Almost a tag team effort up the middle.
Good adjustment by Lenine. This one caroms off the glove, and they got a shot at first. But one of the things you don't expect when a shortstop dives for the ball, you don't expect you're going to make a play on it. So it goes as a leadoff base hit. That's the fourth single of the day. Now we'll have to see if Adele is okay. They're taking a look at him at first. Right there, you can see that he could feel something, but in order to beat the play, he had to re-energize that run to first base.
And Joe Adele is the man who has moved Mike Trout to right field with his play in center, and he will not stay in this game and will come off and go into the dugout.
Well, normally when a guy feels it about halfway down the line, you know that something is let go. More times than not, it's a hamstring. But Ron Washington not want to take a gamble early in the season. Decides they're going to take a look at it in the clubhouse.
Well, some early season injuries for the Angels already. Anthony Rendon, who would have been their starting third baseman, he's on the shelf with hip surgery. Zach Neto, who's basically shortstop of the future, he's on the injured list right now as he recovers from offseason shoulder surgery. And now you have your starting center fielder pulled from the second game of the season.
Well, Neto's going to come back, and when he does, he's a good-looking young shortstop. The defense is going to be a little bit better, and they expect some offense out of him, but he's a little bit away. Not all that far. He'll be back in the not-too-distant future.
For Neto, they said they most likely will appear in the minors to just get ramped up and ready to go first before they see him here in the big leagues.
You got to go through a spring training.
Parrish, the new runner, he was off with that pitch that is fouled away. Kyron Parrish, one of the young stars who they think very high of, the pinch runner now at first base, taking over for Adele.
Newman grounded into a double play last time up. And if you're going to throw sinkers, if that's going to be a mainstay, you have to field your position. And Jonathan Cannon has shown he can do just that. So pitch number 73 on the way.
Kevin Newman, the shortstop, bottom of the order for the Angels. 0-2 pitch from Cannon. How would you assess Cannon's performance, especially after that 34-pitch first inning?
Well, it's been a struggle for him, and he's going to have better games than this. However, when he's had to make a pitch, he has. That's really a good sign for a young pitcher.
See if you can make a pitch here. 0-2.
If the sinker is one of your mainstays, then you're going to be able to get out of some innings by throwing one ground ball, and that's exactly what happened. Angels have grounded into a couple double plays. A third would be awfully nice.
You are 2 for 2. This one poked to right field, and coming on is Baldwin to make the catch for out number 1 here in this 5th inning. Well, Jonathan Cannon took on the role of the streak snapper last season. He was called back up from the minor leagues on June the 7th, worked 3 innings of scoreless relief against the Red Sox. White Sox got the win. That snapped a 14-game losing streak. Then he was on the mound in Oakland against the Athletics August 6th. He snapped the 21-game losing streak.
That is pretty impressive for a young pitcher. But again, coming out of a top level college program really helped Jonathan. Looks to me like Paris is just trying to gauge the move of Cannon.
Here's Taylor Ward, 2 for 2, his 3rd at bat. Remember, he had that epic 11-pitch at bat to start the ball game, but eventually get on base with a single. Paris over at first, his speed in his career, 4 for 4 stolen bases. Many were wondering if he would get enough playing time with the outfield, but now with Adele, you want to see how serious that is. One, two. There goes the runner. Lifted in the air. Robert Jr. calling it off will make the grab for out number 2. Sox fans, bring your family to the ballpark with a family pack presented by ExxonMobil. Starting at just $19, each family member gets 1 ticket, a hot dog, a drink, a bag of chips, a cookie, plus a souvenir 125th anniversary water bottle. For tickets, visit whitesox.com/family. That is today's giveaway, and all season long, the promotions will be honoring the 125-year history of the Chicago White Sox.
That's a lot of games. A lot of games.
Nolan Shawnoel is 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and hit into a double play. This heart of the order, 2 through 5, Jonathan Cannon's done a really nice job against.
Yeah, just the 4 singles so far, and I think what Theis is out there talking to Cannon about is keep a close eye at first base, vary your times, because it looks like Paris is going to run, just a question of when. I don't think for Ron Washington, I don't think that he wants to lead off with Trout. So you take a gamble on a stolen base. Worst case scenario, you get thrown out. You lead off with Shanawell instead of Trout next inning.
Cutter misses outside, and the count is now 3-0 to Shanawell. One thing Jonathan Cannon had to make an adjustment with last season was the placement with that sinker. Yes, he wants to throw it down, but he said a lot of times he has to know where to miss with it. He said with lefties, he said he wants to actually go up and in to lefties, and with the sinker to righties, he said he wants to go low and away.
Well, up and in to lefties is usually a cutter. If a guy has a good sinker, he'll develop a cutter, and then you can go up and in with the left-handers.
There goes the runner to the throw down to second. And Paris is in there safely. Now a career 5 for 5 in stolen bases.
Yeah, you knew he was going to run, just a question of when, and he was looking for that good first step, good acceleration, and not a bad throw, but on the third base side of second, and that's not going to get it done normally. I like that Amaya kept a glove on him, because a lot of guys will pop off the bag on a slide.
Jonathan Cannon had to stop mid-motion as time was called at the plate. Pitch count is getting up there here in this 5th inning.
You just as soon Jonathan ended here. You want to see Trout leading off next inning, if you have a choice.
Mike Trout on deck. Here's a 3-2. Got him looking. Strike 3. Jonathan Cannon through 5 keeps the Angels off the board.
All right, guys, here with 4 White Sox fans, Ricardo, Brad, Travis, and Alex, trying out the new at Lucky's. First game of the year for you, right, Ricardo?
Right. First one.
Fantastic. Of many?
Yes.
There it is. We got stuff for you. Street noodles, take a bite. Let me know how you guys feel. All right. The street noodles. We got the Korean dog, which Steve loved. And Alex has a very special offering, the unicorn. It's got Fruity Pebbles and the whole thing. Thoughts?
It's very good. Very good.
All right. A+ thumbs up from everybody here. John, Steve, back to you.
That is one thing you know is going to be consistent when you come to the ballpark. You are going to get some food and some new offerings this season. So make your way around the ballpark and try out all the new offerings. You can find Lucky's at section 154. Give yourself some time, though, because there could be a line when you get over there.
The food at the ballpark is second to none. It's just outstanding and very creative.
Six, 7, 8 coming to the plate for the White Sox here in this bottom of the 5th inning. 1-2 count to Sosa on a swing and a miss at that knuckle curve, strike 3. How good has Soriano been today?
Just outstanding, and that knuckle curve is really good. He's going to throw it anywhere from 84 to 86 miles an hour, and it just disappears. So when he gets ahead, you always have to worry about that heavy sinker, but he has both a splitter and a knuckle curve to go to.
On the ground, Thaiss. Moncada charging, and he just gets Thaiss with that head first slide.
That's one of the things Moncada can do really well. If he's moving, he's going to make a perfect throw. This is a very good bunt. But Moncada in, good transfer, and he gets it across in time. That's a terrific play. And he does get him at first.
There is Jacob Amaya batting in the 8 hole for the Sox today. For Amaya, he said he knew he needed to make adjustments in the offseason. We've talked about his swing. He said for him it was really the bat path that was the biggest difference. He said in years past he's been trying that uppercut swing. He's trying to lift the ball, trying to hit it out of the ballpark. He goes, okay, I know that's not my swing. And the White Sox really hammered it home for him in the exit meeting last year. He was in there with Marcus Timms, the hitting coach, Grady Sizemore, who was the interim manager. But look at that one, strike 3, as the White Sox still with just 1 hit today. This half inning is brought to you by Wintrust. Different approach, better results.
Pretty good results for Jonathan Cannon. He will exit the game. And Penn Murphy comes on after a spectacular first outing. He pitched the 7th inning in relief of Sean Burke. All he did was strike out all 3 men he faced.
One of the many new faces for the White Sox this season, Penn Murphy. He was acquired this offseason after he spent his career with the Mariners in Seattle. Was actually drafted by the Mariners 2018 in the 33rd round. It doesn't go that deep anymore. Trout, a dribbler back to Murphy, throws to first, and there's one away to start the 6th inning.
Follow our White Sox on the Chicago Sports Network, presented by Nationwide Insurance Agent Jeff Vukovich. Get to enjoy knowing the Vuk as much as you do the jingle at jeffvuk.com, because Nationwide is on your side.
Murphy, one of those guys who was out there and available because he had Tommy John surgery in 2023, missed all of 24. But the White Sox analytically, who have beefed up their analytics staff, took a look at his numbers and said, maybe there's something there. Let's give this guy a shot. And he's done well so far.
And I think when we talked to Chris earlier, one of the things that he and his staff were insistent upon is giving different looks out of the bullpen, because it really makes no sense to have 3 or 4 guys who throw essentially the same. If they're sinker slider pitchers, they have the same release point. He wanted different release points and a different look for each guy coming out of the pen. And I think they've done a nice job of it. Obviously, it's very early in the season. We'll see how it plays going forward. But it's looking pretty good in spring training and pretty good in the early season. And also, Jonathan Cannon really battled today. He gave up 4 hits and 3 walks. He was behind a few hitters, made big pitches consistently when he had to. And all things considered, he kept them off the board for 5, and that's what a starting pitcher is supposed to do.
1-2 to Soler. Did not offer at that sweeper outside. Ball 2. Mentioned Murphy pitched on opening day in that 7th inning. Struck out the side. On the ground, Sosa passed his glove. And Soler will pick up his first base hit of the season. Time for our first Down on the Farm report. Connor, what do you got?
Well, let's take a look at where some of the big names will be starting their minor league seasons this year. You know, Montgomery, Teal, and Caro. They'll get the assignment at AAA Charlotte. What a rotation in Birmingham with 3 of the top arms in the system. And then Kannapolis will be interesting as well. We saw a lot from George Wolkow in spring. Looking forward to seeing a lot more in Kannapolis.
Really excited with having not just Brooke Fletcher, but also Connor McKnight on the broadcast this season. And Connor's going to take a deep dive into the minor league system. He's going to take a trip around the country to follow the guys and chart their progress, because the future is certainly bright for the White Sox. Moncada high in the air to right. And Baldwin underneath. There's out number 2 in the 6th inning.
There's a lot of talent in the White Sox minor league system, not only with arms, but also with the bat. And I think this is one of certainly a top 3rd organization talent-wise in their minor leagues.
Will Venable was asked today about Colson Montgomery and how soon we could potentially see him in the big leagues. And he said, we still want to see some things out of him. It's not just at the plate, in the field. They were working a lot with him to make sure he was making those consistent plays at short. And they want to make sure he feels comfortable before they bring him up to the big leagues.
I mean, that's what you ask of your shortstop. Make every routine play. You make a great play every now and then, but make sure if there's a double play to be turned, you can turn it. And I think that's one of the things, when they sent Colson down, they told him exactly what he had to work on, what they want to see him accomplish down there. Mentioned earlier, he hit a home run last night, which is good. He's a big, strong young man. And if he polishes up the defense, it's not going to be too long till we see him here.
Broken bat, and Ohapi is retired by Amaya at short. It has been all pitching here in game 2 of the season. No score.
Welcome back, Brooks Baldwin leading things off here in the bottom of the 6th. But let's get to know Brooks a little bit better with today's Know Your Sox. I asked him what's the top of his bucket list. He said going duck and dove hunting. Now, not just anywhere, you guys, in Argentina. He said that's actually one of the best places to go in the world for that. I asked him if he could have endless amounts of one food on a deserted island. He said steak. And of course, I had to ask him, well, how's it cooked? And he said medium rare, so he's a pro. And if he could meet one celebrity, dead or alive, he actually told me Hank Williams, an OG in country music. Are you guys Hank Williams fans?
Well, nothing wrong with him, just not on my playlist.
I liked his early stuff. The stuff in the middle was okay. Late, yeah, but I've come to have an affinity for country music as I've gone through the aging process.
I remember back in college working out off the bat at Baldwin, and there he comes through for his first hit of the season. Let's check in with Connor for some news and notes around the league.
News and notes. We've got them both up here in the perch. A lot going on, even early on in the season. So let's take a look at some of these big ones. In New York, there have been home runs. Juan Soto's first with the Mets becomes the 53rd player in history to hit a home run for the Yankees and the Mets. And how about that? You walk off and it's your first major league hit and first major league homer. Not a bad way to do it. And guys, today 8 home runs by the Yankees against the Brewers. The major league record is 10 and they are closing in. It's day 3 of the season.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron Judge is on pace to hit 85, 90 home runs if this continues. He has at least 3 today.
Vargas pulls that one foul. I was saying back in college, I remember working out baseball team, and the coach would not allow certain types of music. So the only thing that was really acceptable was country music. So that was the only thing we would work out to every morning, trudging across through the snow at 5 a.m. in New Hampshire.
Well, you haven't lived until you've seen a live rendition of Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road by Loudon Wainwright III. When you get to that group, you know, we can go up maybe and see him if he's still around.
How are you in mid-season form already?
Well, you know, no runs in this game, so we got to come up. There you go.
Oh,
now there you
cowboy
go. Nice cowboy hat.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count here on Vargas.
Nice stop by O'Hoppe. That's not an easy one to handle, and he couldn't move his body in front of it. It was thrown too hard, so he kind of backhanded it, but was able to make the stop. If that flattens out, it gets by him because there's no body in back of the glove.
Check over at Baldwin. Soriano only 62 pitches here in this 6th inning with nobody out.
And the bullpen is starting to get loose for the Angels, so if he has any problems this inning, Washington will go to the pen.
Splitter is in there for a called strike 3. Brooke.
Yeah, guys, we have praised Luis Roberts and just his approach this season, which is rooted in his strong discipline. You know, this offseason, he had a chance to learn from one of the game's most disciplined hitters in Juan Soto. He said the two, they work together, and Luis pointed out that Soto's success is no secret. It's all about his approach, and that's something that he has been focusing on improving. He said they talked about everything from game situations to mindset when approaching the plate, and Luis has really just valued the opportunity to learn from someone with such a high level of experience, guys.
That's the key to getting better at anything. When you see someone successful at something, you reach out, and if they're willing to share, make sure you listen.
Well, that's one of the things that used to be and maybe will be going forward is baseball conversations. Because anytime you have a conversation related to anything you do, you're going to get better. They might tell you one thing you haven't heard before. And if they do that and you take that away from the conversation, then it was a benefit. So hopefully we see more of that. And I think with the no phone issue that Ron Washington has implemented, he's trying to get that across to them.
Maybe we implement that in the booth here. I'm just going to be locked in on your eyes, Steve Stone in the field. No cell phone, nothing else allowed.
Well, yeah, nah, that wouldn't be good.
0-2 to Robert. There goes Baldwin off the end of the bat. Baldwin has to retreat back to first. The throw over to the bag. Oh, they doubled him off. That's how the 6th inning will end. We are still scoreless after this pop-up double play. Are you ready for your winning moment? Find it at Wind Creek Casino Southland, where the action never stops. You can play the hottest table games, enjoy the newest slots, and celebrate big jackpots. At Wind Creek, there's a win waiting for you around every corner.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Bryce Wilson. So last year appeared in 34 games. The ERA a touch over 4.
Wilson was signed in the offseason to a 1-year deal by the White Sox. He was a guy who threw 104 2/3 innings for the Brewers last season. But for him, he said the biggest thing he wanted to clean up was giving up home runs. He gave up 20 home runs last season. So he said he's got to figure out how to limit his mistakes more this season.
Well, one of the reasons why he was giving up some home runs, obviously you miss your pitches, but he struck out only 15% of the guys that he faced. And when you do that, well, that's what's in scoring position. When you do that, you're going to give up contact.
That one sent the other way. And Rengifo will have a single to start the 7th inning. Sox Crawl is back. Join us on April 12th for Sox Crawl Whiskey Q, presented by Jack Daniels. Enjoy an exclusive pregame crawl inside the stadium with cocktail and barbecue samplings. Got food, drink specials, entertainment, and more. Plus, you can receive a 1920 jersey hoodie presented by Rate. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/SoxCrawl. So Vargas now in on the grass, with Paris getting his first at bat today. He came in to replace Adele, who exited the game back in the 5th inning, running out a grounder to first. There goes the runner. And Paris fouls it off.
They were using the hit and run. Fortunately, it was fouled off because Rengifo had a huge jump at first. That's one of the things that the Sox were working on in the spring. They gave up a lot of stolen bases out of their bullpen last year.
First-year manager for the White Sox, looking on as Will Venable sees himself in a scoreless battle here. Paris, a bloop to right field. It's going to be trouble, and it's going to drop in front of Baldwin. So Rengifo will stop at second, and the first two Angels are on board here in the 7th inning.
This one squibbed off the end of the bat. And Rengifo normally would be at third base, but you don't know if it's going to be caught or not, so you got to be a safety first. You don't want to get doubled up.
You can tell he's breathing hard as he had to hustle down to second when he found out that one was going to drop. Bottom of the order for the Halos as Kevin Newman steps in 0 for 2 today. Puts down the bunt, but it rolls foul.
With runners at first and second, you want to make sure the third baseman fields it if you do lay down a bunt. You know the first baseman, in this case Andrew Vaughn, is going to be charging. You want to keep it away from the pitcher, and you want to force Vargas to field the bunt.
Newman swinging away now, and that one fouled down the right field line. The count is now 0-2. Newman signed in the offseason a one-year deal for the Angels after being a utility man last season for the Diamondbacks. And he finds himself with a starting job at short with Neto still on the injured list. Oh-2 from Wilson. Good stop by Theis behind the dish.
That was a really good stop because that one bounced well in front of him. It's a breaking ball down. He was able to move the glove up, and it's a good thing it doesn't flatten out.
Two on, nobody out in this 7th inning. And the curveball misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. First appearance of the season for Bryce Wilson. Trying to keep this game scoreless. Another good stop by Theis, and the count is full.
That's a very good play on a straight change. And he kept the runners exactly where they are.
Three-two. Got him swinging. There's out number 1 in this 7th inning.
This is a huge out in this game. You don't get him, it's bases loaded, nobody out. That one had some good late movement on it. It's a two-seamer with late movement that caught the outside part of the plate, and Newman could not check it up.
Top of the order now for the Angels. Taylor Ward has been the best hitter in the lineup today. 2 for 3. Taking all the way, strike 1. This was the problem area for the White Sox last season. Late in ball games, getting through the 6th through the 9th inning with the bullpen. But they looked and were up to the task in the opening game to get the 8-1 win.
I don't know if Bryce is all that comfortable with making that pickoff play at second, but looks like Rengifo has a pretty good lead, and Sosa is trying to sneak in behind him.
On the ground, Vargas will run to the bag for one, over to first. Double play turned. Miguel Vargas gets the Sox off the field. And Wilson does his job out of the bullpen.
Gets out of a tough jam on a one-hop throw. Gets him by plenty. MLB TV. Redeem now through April 1st at T-Mobile.com/MLB.
Andrew Benintendi starts off this bottom of the 7th inning.
He's had some good swings at Soriano. Not many of the Sox hitters have. Soriano's been that tough, but this should be a good at bat for Benny.
Popped him up on the infield. It's Moncada calling for it. And there's one away. Let's check in again with Connor.
All right, guys, we showed you where the big prospects went to start the season. Now let's take a look at what they did to start the season. Get early home run production down on the farm. Colson Montgomery had a home run. Tim Elko, Kyle Teal all homered. And look at the names that scored too. Chase Mydroth, Edgar Carroll on base when it mattered. And the Knights beat the Stripers 9-1. Good starts for the big name prospects.
Is that your playlist?
Not yet. I'm trying to ease my way into that.
When Steve Stone goes to the gym, that's what he puts on all the time.
That's it.
One down, Andrew Vaughn. And look what Soriano found. Make the toss, and there's quickly 2 down here in the 7th.
When you fall off the mound to the first base side, occasionally you find the ball in your glove.
White Sox with just 2 hits off the Angels starter.
I mean, that's how good Soriano has been. Early he fell behind, walked a couple of people the first 2 innings, but lately throwing a lot of ground balls, which is normally what he does.
There were many people who thought Jose Soriano would have been the opening day starter for the Angels. But then Kikuchi was signed in the offseason, that big deal. He got the nod for the Angels on Thursday.
And he threw well enough. I mean, 6 innings, 3 runs. Not bad. But obviously when your team doesn't score, except for the 1 run late, you're not going to get it done too often. However, I think they were pretty happy with the way Kikuchi threw.
He gave up those 3 runs in that 2nd inning. And other than that, he was on point. 1-1 to Maton. And again, Soriano just sticks out the mitt. Through 7, we are still scoreless. The White Sox with just 2 hits off this guy. If you're just joining us, let's get you caught up on what you missed. It has been a pitcher's duel from the start. Jonathan Cannon making his season debut, kept them scoreless through 5.
Walked 3, but still made the big pitches when he had to. So it wasn't his greatest outing, but it was pretty good. And this guy is all world today. Couple of singles, that's been it.
Jose Soriano. And now a new pitcher on the mound for the Sox.
Mike Clevenger, who had a big inning in the opener, looking for more of the same here.
Shawnuel in the air to left field. And Benintendi with a grab, one away to start this 8th inning. You can stream every out-of-market game live or on demand. Plus, stream MLB Network 24/7 for the entire season. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Big at bat here. Mike Trout at the plate, 0 for 3. Not only has Mike Trout moved from center to right field, he's also made some adjustments. He's dropped a little weight. All reports say that he feels a lot more lighter on his feet. Also, his hands are a little more quiet at the plate, giving him a better path to the ball. That one back at Clevenger will regather, and is quickly 2 down.
I think as you get older in this game, and especially when you've had leg issues as Mike Trout has, you're going to have to change your hand position because you're not going to be near as quick. A lot of people understand what legs mean to a pitcher. They don't understand what legs mean to a hitter. If you're not hitting off a solid base where you have really good leverage when the pitch is coming to you, you have a problem. And if you keep getting hurt with leg injuries, then you make an adjustment. He's trying to do that as an older player now.
Mike Clevenger's another guy who has had to make an adjustment. He was limited to just 4 starts for the White Sox last season. That was due to that neck injury that he suffered and actually led to surgery in the offseason for Clevenger. And now he's got a new role with the ball club. He'll be coming on in key leverage situations late in the game.
And Will Venable talked about it before the game because he was very happy with Clevenger and what he did. It's not an automatic transition when you go from a lifetime starter to now you're out of the bullpen. But Mike realizes that his future probably is just that, back end of the bullpen in key situations.
Had a key situation Thursday, bases loaded, got out of the jam for the Sox.
Soler helped him out by swinging a fastball up over his head. But that being said, this is going to be the key to this White Sox team. If they can get the back end of the bullpen figured out, I'm not going to tell you that they're going to win the division or go on to postseason, but I will tell you that this is going to be a competitive team if the back end of the bullpen is what they believe it could be. And Will Venable is going to work with all of his guys. He's going to go situationally, not naming one definitive closer. Just see how the game plays out. See who he uses early, see who he needs late. And so far, all the pitching has been really good.
3-0 the count here, Soler. And a cutter just missing, ball 4. Enter the Ultimate Fan Sweepstakes for a chance to win one-of-a-kind experiences all season long. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate tailgate. Attend Chicago's hottest summer events, exclusive City Connect items, and more. To learn more and enter today, visit whitesox.com/sweepstakes. Yohan Moncada took a big hack at that one.
Well, look, coming back to a team that let you go, you always get psyched up for each and every at bat. He wants to do something that will leave an impression on everybody here, and it's up to Mike Clevenger to continue the impression that Moncada has had going 0 for 2 with a walk.
That one off of Theis, trying to find it. Soler takes the big turn. He's going to third. Here comes the throw to the bag, and Soler is in safe, takes a peek, but will stay put there at third base.
It's up to the pitcher in this situation to call out to the catcher where the ball is, because the catcher with the ball behind him doesn't know exactly where it's going to bounce. So Theis getting to it. Soler with a heads-up piece of base running.
So a wild pitch as Soler will end up on third with 2 away. Two balls and a strike to count to Moncada. Back to Clevenger. It went off of him. Hustle to the ball. It's going to be a tough one, and no play as the Angels strike first and lead it 1-0 now in this 8th inning.
That one gets by, and then Moncada hustling down the line. There's no play at first, so the full-out hustle by Soler allowed him to score a run.
Swing and a miss by the catcher Logan O'Hoppe. He drove in the only run of the game for the Angels on Thursday with his solo home run in the 9th inning. But he is 0 for 3 so far here today. So the walk to Soler, the wild pitch allowing him to get to third, now scoring. Making it 1-0 in this 8th inning. O'Hoppe to center. And White Sox now have to come from behind after the Angels get on the board and lead it 1-0. Getting started for the bottom of the 8th inning. Angels with a 1-0 lead over the White Sox. It is time for our PNC Bank slow moments of the game.
Soriano went 7, and he gives way to Ben Joyce, the fireballing right-hander. You can see the ERA last year, 2.08. Pretty impressive. The stuff is great, and he's a guy that can rush it up there.
105.5, the highest he was clocked at last season. And we are now into the strength of this Angels team, the back end of their bullpen, because Ben Joyce had that breakout season last year and they thought he was going to be their closer of the future. But then they thought maybe he's just not quite ready yet, and they signed Kenley Jansen the offseason. As Sosa grounds this one to second. All right, for a preview of what's coming up on White Sox Postgame Live presented by Yingling, let's check in with our guys. Chuck, Ozzie, what's up?
What's up there, John? So only 2 hits for the White Sox. They need more offense, obviously, and we're running out of time here. How did they get on the board?
Well, it's funny thing about it now is that you're going to see a pretty good pitching out of the bullpen right now. The 2 hits not going to help you, but then right now it was a great pitching duel. A lot of ground ball for double play to in the game.
A Yohan Moncada infield single. That is the difference in this game.
I don't like the matchup. I told you earlier, I don't know. I feel kind of weird about this matchup with the right-hander behind him, but hey, he hit in the right spot.
All right, we have plenty more to talk about on the postgame show. We hope it is a winning edition. We'll see you then.
All right, guys, appreciate that. Nat Theis takes that pitch at 1-0-2. Ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike the count. So Joyce now will be the setup man for the Angels, as Kenley Jansen is the closer who was signed in the offseason to a 1-year, $10 million deal from the Red Sox.
One of the things you have to hope is that Joyce loses command. A walk or so would be very good here in a 1-run game.
He misses out of the zone there, and it's 3 balls, 1 strike to count. And there it is on command, Steve. Ball 4 as Theis gets on with a walk. Take your game day to the next level with all-inclusive food and drinks, in-seat service, and complimentary parking in our premium seating areas. Plans start at just 20 games, so don't miss out on the ultimate experience. For more information, visit whitesox.com/premium, or you can call or text 312-674-1000.
Theis will be taken down for a pinch runner. Ron Washington to the mound to have a conversation with his young right-hander. Michael A. Taylor takes over at first base, representing the tying run. One of the things that Washington was probably talking to Joyce about was, with a pinch runner, take a look at him, vary your times, make it more difficult to even think about a stolen base.
Angels know they also have to be careful with Joyce because he only pitched on consecutive days twice all of last year. So Ron Washington has said in the offseason, he said if we use him, it's most likely just going to be for an inning of work so we can keep him healthy. Bounces that one, and Taylor's going to take second.
There was no chance at all for O'Hoppe. This one bounced in front of the plate. He cannot move his body in time to get it to his right. And there's the tying run in scoring position.
This one lined to left field. And the catch is made by Ward. So there's 2 away now here in this 8th inning. Bottom of the order for the Sox, and it's up to Brooks Baldwin to try to tie this game or get the lead. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Baldwin 1 for 2 today with a single in his last at bat in the 6th inning. Swings through that sinker, and it's quickly 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes the count. The pitch from Joyce, missing outside, ball 1. Baldwin, a guy who made his big league debut last season with the White Sox, played in 33 games. Looking to add on that as he tore through AA and AAA. He really had a breakout season in the minors last year, hitting a combined .324 across AA and AAA.
And I think the fact that he can play most of the infield positions and most of the outfield positions, that kind of versatility allowed him to make the team.
6 out the bat just to stay alive. th pitch of the inning for Joyce coming up as the White Sox looking to tie the game here in this 8th inning. 1-2, and Baldwin fights off another one.
Joyce is not a comfortable at bat, so this is pretty impressive so far. Just staying alive, spoiling some good pitches, and hoping for Joyce to make a mistake.
Baldwin's doing his part. Because not only does Joyce come at you with that heat, it's kind of that herky-jerky motion. Everything about him is uncomfortable.
And when a guy has 105 in his back pocket, it's not a great at bat.
1-2. Another foul. 5 straight foul balls for Brooks Baldwin.
Look, he's trying to take it through the left side. There is a huge gap. Newman is playing close to the bag. He's in charge of keeping Taylor close. It opens up the left side.
1-2. Missing upstairs at 103 for ball 2. This will be the 10th pitch of the at bat coming up for Baldwin. On the ground to first. And Shawnewa will step on the bag as the Sox strand the runner at second base. We go to the 9th, Angels with a 1-0 lead.
Time for today's Miller moment. And the only run of the ball game was a 2-base wild pitch. And then an infield hit off the bat of Yoan Moncada. It's been a pitcher's duel the whole way. That one Clevenger could not field. And the Angels have a 1-0 lead.
New pitcher on the mound for the White Sox.
Jordan Leisure comes on. This is his second outing. He's on pace to throw in 162 games. Last year, 33 of them. ERA up over 6.
7, 8, 9 to the plate for the Angels here in this 9th inning. As Luis Rengifo will start it off. He is 2 for 3 with 2 singles. We talked about 5 players from last year's opening day roster making this year's opening day roster, and Jordan Leisure being one of those guys. But he said the key for him was he felt like late in the season last year didn't have as much steam on his fastball. His body was starting to break down a little bit. Ground ball second base. Sosa at the first out here in this 9th inning. White Sox Charities car raffle is back. Enter to win a 2025 Mazda CX-30 courtesy of Mazda of Orland Park. You can get the car raffle tickets today at whitesox.com/SoxCar. So for Leisure, he said a big part of his offseason was the conditioning aspect to make sure that his body could hold up throughout the season and he could have a fastball in that 96 to 98 mile per hour range. Steve, he said his offseason workout Monday through Friday, got to the gym at 6, was there with his coach, and he wouldn't leave the gym until 10:30 in the morning. 4.5 hours working on his body every day this offseason.
A major league season is really hard to get through for all players, but especially for young pitchers who aren't used to all of that work you have to do. And so you got to condition your body to be able to respond, whether it's April or September.
Said he was incredibly proud of the numbers he gained in the weight room. He said especially with his hamstrings and his shoulders. He said those were the 2 areas of his body he really wanted to strengthen up. Working against the youngster Paris, ahead in the count, 1-2.
This is a good man to keep off base because of his speed, because if he gets on, he's going to be running.
Two pitch. Just missing off the edge. Leisure wanted that one. Count now full.
It was a good call by Jim Wolf. It did miss. And Jim Wolf, like Alan Porter, has had a good game behind the plate.
He has. Got him swinging upstairs at 96.
Time now for the upcoming schedule presented by Toyota. And the Angels for one more tomorrow. Then the Twins come to town for a 3-game series. The off day on Thursday, and it's the first road trip of the year with the Tigers. The off day, and then the Guardians and the Bostons. That's coming back home against the Bostons, and then we go to Boston.
So Leisure trying to do his job and work a 1-2-3 9th inning. Here's the bottom of the order in Newman. Lifted high in the air to left. Benintendi underneath. And let's see if the Sox can mount a comeback. Bottom of the 9th when we come back.
season. Southside, stand up!
Andrew Benintendi due up third this inning as the White Sox down by 1 heading into this bottom of the 9th.
And if they're going to get it done, they're going to get it done against longtime closer Kenley Jansen. Last season, a 3.29 ERA. And gone is the huge fastball he used to have, but he still throws pretty well. And active save leaders 447. Yikes.
Miguel Vargas first crack at Jansen.
What makes him difficult to hit, usually the stuff was just overwhelming. As he's gotten older, he depends on deception. He's got that herky-jerky motion, that hesitation, then he comes at you.
Kenley Jansen was asked in the offseason if he's thought about getting to 500 saves. He said, sure, I think about it, but coming over to the Angels, that's not my goal. It's not to rack up saves. He goes, we had a lot of young guys that I want to mentor. I'm here to rack up wins.
Well, he's going to throw cutter and then a cutter. Then he's probably going to follow it up with a cutter and maybe another cutter. That's pretty much the repertoire for Kenley these days, but it's been very effective.
Certain Mariano Rivera was also effective with the cutter.
He threw the occasional cutter. He only threw it when he was in the game, though.
1-2. Luis Robert Jr. on deck, and Benintendi in the hole. 1-2. This is why Vargas is leading off. They love the job he does, being able to control the zone.
And this year, with the added weight, he's hitting the ball a bit harder. There's still a lot of upside. I mean, he's still a relatively young hitter. He's getting a full opportunity to show exactly what the Dodgers saw when they signed him originally.
1-2 pitch. Jansen was signed in the offseason to a 1-year, $10 million deal at 37 years old. Here's his 2-2. Oh, watch out.
Almost got a face burger there. I mean, you don't mind getting hit to get on base as a tying run. You just don't want to get hit there. Ducks out of the way, and the count goes full.
(3-2) and Vargas swings through it. Strike 3.
It's a cornucopia of cutters, and that's what he depends on. And he can throw them consistently for strikes. There's a little late movement on it, and he threw it by Vargas for out number 1.
Luis Robert Jr. And that cutter catching a piece of the inside corner. Strike 1. Robert 0 for 3.
That was his pitch, and he just swung through it. He got a cutter. I don't think Jansen wanted to throw it on the inside part of the plate, and unfortunately could not catch up with it.
Oh, 2. Left it upstairs. Ball 1. Kenley Jansen. You'd have to think he is a future Hall of Famer. If he does get to 500 saves, would be just the 3rd closer ever in the history of the game.
Right now, I think he's right on the border. I think you could go either way with him, but he still has a lot of life left in that arm.
Cutter paints the corner. And the White Sox are down to their final out in the ninth.
Put it exactly where he wanted to. That one had the plate. You see how he throws that cutter. He doesn't get a lot of movement, but he gets a little late movement.
Sox fans, speeding through a work zone is a swing and a miss. When you see orange, slow down and keep your eyes on the road. Mind the signs, avoid the fines. It's not a game.
So Hoppy to the mound. He wants to have a talk because he knows that Benintendi's been swinging it pretty well. Normally in a situation, and I was told this by a guy who became a Hall of Famer, Jim Palmer. He said, in a situation late in the game where the hitter can either tie up the game or beat me, I'm going to force him to do it to the opposite field. I'm not going to allow him to pull that ball. And we'll see what Jansen tries to do with Benintendi.
Benny loves jumping on that first pitch. Here it is. Missing outside, ball one.
I think he's going to stay away most of this at bat.
Benintendi 1 for 2 with a single in the fourth and a walk in his first at bat. Away again, and it's 2-0.
Got Andrew Vaughn in the on deck circle. Looking for his first hit of the day and also looking for an at bat here, which means Benny's got to get on somehow.
Benintendi turned on that one into the upper deck foul.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to stay middle in. But Jansen was kind of fortunate that Benny got around a little too quickly.
Crowd trying to get into it here in the bottom of the ninth. Sox down to their final out. 2 balls and a strike. Missing off the plate again. 3-1. Everything has been away except for that foul ball launched by Benintendi. And there's ball 4. Andrew Vaughn will step up to the plate.
Well, you could tell one thing. You realize how a man has 447 saves. He's a smart pitcher. And he was determined to stay away from Benintendi. If he walked him, he walked him. But now it sets the stage for Andrew Vaughn. And the wind is blowing toward left field.
Fans rising to their feet, hoping for some magic. Second game of the season as they check on Benintendi at first. Vaughn 0 for 3 today. Still looking for his first hit of the season. And he fouls that one off his leg. So Kenley Jansen surprisingly started off that bat with a cutter.
Yep. Yes, very surprising.
Vaughn looking for something he can drive here to keep this game going. There goes Benintendi. On the ground is short. Newman's throw, and the White Sox will lose their first game of the season as the Angels take game 2 of this 3-game series 1-0.
It was a pretty well played game. I think the Sox did what they're going to do a lot of this year, get really good pitching. They're going to look for some runs. Today, Soriano was just too tough in that bullpen of the Angels, which is a strong point. It's a 500 ball club. Let's win one tomorrow and win a series.
Angel starter Soriano got the win. Clevenger took the loss, and